Welcome to the Midwest Happy Hour. We're your hosts, Lacey and Haley.
Join us for a drink and a chat with a new Midwest small town perspective on topics that will keep you learning, laughing, and growing.
So let's get into it. Cheers!
Drives me up the wall. And I feel like I can't sleep with the fan.
I have to have a sound machine on.
I have a video that I want to show you because it's a TikTok these girls made where they're like, she's like, hey, do you mind if I turn on the fan? And her friend's like, nah, dude, you're good. And then she fucking turns on, it's like, whoa, whoa, and it's like an industrial size fan. I was like, that's like, hey, do you mind if I turn on the fan? And it sounds like a fucking jet engine starts up. Okay. I don't know if that was a cold open, but
It's fine.
hello,
Hi,
everyone. Welcome back to the Midwest Happy Hour. I'm your co-host, Haley.
I hope you all enjoyed the actual intro.
Oh, yeah,
Because
you did it.
I did it. I did the
Yes,
thing.
you did. You did it.
And I was able to, if you watch the video, like the audio in the video might be off like a smidge, but
We're only
it's
human.
fine. It's fine. We're trying to figure out how to do this on one platform, and if anyone out there has any tips, that would be fantastic. We've reached out to a couple people, but we haven't heard back.
Yeah, we honestly just want advice. Like, I don't want to,
Yes.
I'm not trying to rip anybody off and their ideas,
Right.
but it's just becoming, like, we're just feel like we're dumb or whatever. Like,
Yes,
I can't.
And we spend probably at least 2 hours every time we record just figuring out technology stuff. And like it'd be really great if we could just come here, record, edit, do some like fun, cute videos, and then be done.
Right, but instead it's like, oh, we need to record on this platform and then move it to that platform, and
then
I just have no idea.
And then by the end, I'm brain dead.
Yeah, same. It's taking us a lot of time. I told you I was gonna message Joe Rogan's Jamie and be like, hey, do you know a guy in Central Illinois that can come and like be our dude, because we just don't know.
Right.
We just don't
I'm
know.
hoping that the people we reached out to on Instagram who are from Bloomington,
Yes.
I hope they just haven't seen it because it's been like 5 days now
Oh,
and we haven't heard anything back. Like,
I mean,
what happened to people wanting to help each other out?
right. I'm not trying to, like I said, we're not trying to rip anybody off. I'm just looking for ideas. Like, hey, I have all the shit, it feels like. The phone, the iPad, the laptop, like.
Don't we want everyone to succeed?
Yes,
Like,
please, somebody. Just leave a comment. Hey, guys, girls, can you please learn how to plug the microphone into your,
And whatever.
into your
And
butt,
just
and it
tell
comes
us what
out of your mouth. Like,
platform
I
you
don't know.
use, and if it's because I do see video, so it's like I know you're using video and audio. Please help.
Right, and so our setup right now is record video on the phone,
Right.
and then audio goes straight into the iPad into GarageBand. That's what we're doing.
And then in order for people to see videos, because people have asked us to post the videos.
Yeah.
And like the platform that we're using with Podbean, it doesn't allow like video transferring from Podbean to Spotify. So like there's just a lot of different things that I feel like if we had some assistance or with someone who knew what they were doing,
Right.
like to make our lives easier. And
Yes.
again, I want you to succeed. Don't you want us to succeed?
If there's
like,
a 15-year-old out there that's like, these dumb old 29-year-olds can't figure out how to use technology, hit us up and slide into my DMs.
Yes.
And be like, this is how you do it. Because that would be great.
Right.
So,
But speaking of like wanting people to succeed, right? We are very like, we want to champion each other and what other people are doing.
yes.
And I didn't realize until us doing this and really putting ourselves out there how important it is to encourage one another who are also putting themselves out there. Like before I did this and I saw people that I knew that started their own business, went off and did their own thing, and they're
Right.
posting and putting themselves out there like this, I would always think in my head, good for them, or what they're doing is fantastic, that's amazing, keep it up. Every once in a while, I'd like let the, like, whoever it was know, like, hey, you're doing a good job, keep it up. but I'm trying to be more intentional about doing it more often.
Because it feels good when
Because
people do it for us.
Good.
Yeah.
It definitely feels good. So I say all of that to say, if you think what we're doing is great, or you have feedback about ways that we could do this better, let us know. Go on your podcast platform and give us your rating. Put a comment in there, because even if you think it'll take you 5-10 seconds to actually submit the comment or submit the rating, because it would be really great if we could do this long term, and we can only do that if people like put it out there that they like us.
Even if you think that we have thought about it before, we probably haven't thought of it. If you're like, surely they've already thought of trying this. Nah, I don't know. We might not have. Just let us know. Just let us know what you think, and we'll try it, and then maybe you're the cure to our
incompetency.
Yeah, exactly. Our technological incompetence, like, I don't know.
But even like, if you like the way that we're podcasting and you like the topics that we're talking about, and you see like a future for us in this and you really enjoy it, let us know.
Yeah.
And let the other people know, because it'd be really cool again if we could do this.
Yeah, I don't know if people want to hear me gab that bad.
And people are listening to us. Like, I can see it in our statistics, like our stats. You all are listening to us. Let us know in the comments or rate us, because our it would just be so appreciated.
Yeah, and I did ask my two North Stars, Kendall and Patrick. I was like, "Is it good?" And Patrick was like, "Well, I listened," and I was like, "You did?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, well, thanks for like supporting." Yeah, he said he was in the middle of like whatever one. He was just a little bit behind, but. And I was like, "Oh, do you think?" I go, "Are they like? Is it good? Like, do you want?" He goes, "It's good. I want to listen to the whole thing." He's like, "I don't have to, like, make myself." And Kendall was like, "It's fine," which means it's good.
Right.
And
I feel
Kendall,
like she's like a cynical person.
She did tell me to stop talking shit about her on here. That's why she would probably be like, "It's amazing," if I didn't say, "Kendall." Ugh.
Well, Kendall.
I don't know, but also,
but Flynn's very supportive too. He listens, and he definitely thinks it's good.
And he would say criticisms.
Right, he did feel like that his podcast or his episode with us, Sports with Flint, could have been better. He felt a little bit embarrassed. He's like, "I just feel like I have so much more to offer," and I was like, "Okay, then you can come back on." Yeah. People want him to come on and I say people, it's like his family, want him to come on and talk about like conspiracy theories, because Flint is like like he just loves conspiracy
I'm into
theories,
it
and
as
he can
well.
tell you any. He's also like a big history
Maybe we
buff,
could do
but
that
would be a
next
lot of fun.
month.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, we need to jot those down.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know, everyone.
Please. And let's cheers. Also, if we sound nasally, it's because we do. And so that's why we're drinking hot toddies today, and they're freaking amazing.
Some hot toddies. And I went to the store today to get the supplies, and I was like deciding on like which whiskey to get, and I was gonna get Jameson, but I was like, well, I kind of want to do something different. And then I saw this Old Smoky. I always forget the name.
The company is Old Smoky Moonshine, but it's whiskey.
Yeah,
cinnamon whiskey.
Yeah. It's
delish.
Very cinnamony. Before this, before we started, I made us take like a little bit more than a half a shot.
Drink it poo.
And it's very, very cinnamony. But now, at first, I thought there was too much going on in this.
No.
But now it's really good. It's honestly soothing my throat.
Yeah, with the honey in there.
Oh, yeah.
Delish. It's not too sweet. It's so good.
And
so
we
good.
used local honey.
Yeah, from Hip Bee Honey. Shout out Whitey. Chris Whiteman. I've known him forever, literally.
Yeah.
And he keeps his own bees. Like, how I just love that. And he sells a lot of products. Obviously, honey. It's the best. And this one, he said the batch is sweet because they got into clovers, which I think is like adorable.
Yeah.
Like, these bees were loving all over that clover.
I
so
know,
it's nice
so
and
cute.
sweet and delicious.
It's very yummy.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Is.
Like, you can taste the clover in it, and it's so good.
Yeah, and I don't remember where I heard it or whatever, but it makes sense. So it's got to be true, right?
Exactly.
That when you eat honey that's local, the bees were on the pollen that's local, and pollen causes allergies. So if you're exposed to that pollen from around this area, the local honey will help you like come over your allergies or whatever. Overcome
Right.
them. Don't
Yep.
come over them. You come overcome them. You can overcome anything or come over any. You can come over.
Okay. Oh, that was getting a little.
Okay. Reset.
That's fine.
We're good. See, I've clearly had half a glass.
But yeah, my 2 kids got us sick.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it's always so convenient. If
So-
you're a parent, you know that when your kids are sick, right around the time when they are getting over their sickness and their
Oh.
energy picks back up, that's right when you come down with their sickness. So like they're high
Yes.
energy and being crazy, and all you want to do is like
You're
rest.
like, buddy, you are killing me here.
Yes,
Yeah.
like,
I was
I'm
like,
exhausted.
on Tuesday, I did not feel good at all. I
Yeah.
felt like flu-y. I took an at-home COVID test, negative. I think one of them just sneezed in my mouth, and
Yeah.
it's the
It's
way she
possible.
goes. Oh, I know. It's like, it seems like every time I get them up from a nap, I'm like, did you have a good nap? And like right in my mouth, and I'm like, dude. So is that a yes to the good nap? I don't know. And speaking of, excuse me,
Yeah.
kids.
Yes, so we're gonna talk about kids today, but before we do that, I just want to say Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. This episode is coming out Monday before Thanksgiving.
Oh
Yeah. What are your plans? Did you solidify anything yet?
No, we usually just keep it pretty low key on Thanksgiving. It'll probably just be me and my dad and Patrick, honestly. My sister's going to her friend's birthday out on the East Coast, so she's not coming up. I told my dad, sorry Bev if you're listening, that Kendall's boyfriend's parents invited us over and she wanted to know if we were going. So I asked Dad, I was like, are we going to Joey's mom's? And Dad goes, are Kendall and Joey going? And I was like, no. And he goes, and we're not going over there. Which is just like so typical my dad. Like he doesn't
Right.
care. He's not being like mean or anything. But it just made me laugh. I was just like, okay, Dad, like I'm just saying if you don't want to cook Thanksgiving dinner, like
Right.
we can go somewhere else and have
Well,
it.
you can also come here. Come to my house.
I
Or
know.
come to my dad's house.
Yeah, I know. I told him that too, and he was like,
Hey, it'd be like a little pre-run before Cabo.
It would be, yeah, because the whole fam's coming up, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. I know. But I don't know. He just usually likes to, my dad likes to cook.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah,
think it's
same.
fun for him. And I think he's been thinking about deep frying a turkey because he bought a gigantic pot from Walmart not that long ago because he was like, I don't know what happened to my old one. And it was like August. And
Yeah.
I was like, are you going to fry a turkey? And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. And I'm like, okay. I thought maybe we were getting fried turkey for Thanksgiving, but I don't know.
Right.
It's just going to be a surprise. So yeah, it should be a good one. I
Yeah.
can't believe it. We have snow on the ground here, people.
Yeah, winter is coming.
Breaking news. We have freaking snow on the ground. I mean, it's like this much, a smidge,
Right.
I would say. But still, it's stuck
Yeah.
because
It's been
it's,
here a couple of days now.
yeah, it's cold. It is automatically cold outside.
Right.
Hot to cold. I have my
Right.
windows open for like 2 days, it seems like.
Yeah.
And then straight to the heat.
Yeah, but speaking of winter is coming, did you see that they're doing a spinoff with Jon Snow?
No.
Yes.
Have you been watching House of Dragon?
Yes.
I haven't.
Um,
Kind of breaks
It's-
my heart.
it's good. I think you would like it.
I mean, I probably would. I just am like, I feel like I'm boycotting it because I feel like they fucked up the end of Game of Thrones so bad
I know.
that I don't want to watch House of Dragon. Also, Yellowstone breaks my heart, so I can't hardly take anymore. Like, we were gonna start 1883 just because we were so anxious for like the beginning of Yellowstone, and we literally watched the opening sequence like before the theme song came on, and we were like, nope, turn it off. I can't do it. My heart can't take it yet. Like,
That's so
I
funny.
can't.
I really enjoyed those first 2 episodes.
Oh yeah, so good. Oh my god, like that show is just back at it again. Yellowstone might be like one. I mean, it definitely is one of the best shows of all time. Like it totally. Even my dad doesn't watch TV, and he has watched every episode.
Right.
So if that tells you anything,
Right. You're right.
it is. It's so good. You know what?
Sorry. No, you go ahead.
Well, I just was gonna give another little. You know what else I've been watching, which this could quickly just become a show about what we've been watching on
I know,
TV.
that would be hilarious.
which I've been watching on YouTube on the Law and Crime Network, is the trial of Darrell Brooks, or Darrell Brooks, I don't know. But he claims to be a sob-sit, which is short for sovereign citizen. And he does not consent to being called that name until the very end, after he got 76 guilty sentences. I'm in the middle.
Wait, is this the guy who...
He ran over all those people at the Christmas parade in Waukesha.
Yeah.
He killed 6 people and injured like 80, like a crazy amount. And right now I'm in the middle of the judge like giving her sentencing remarks, and he starts to like act out again, and she just puts him in a separate courtroom and puts him on mute, and her at the end, she's just leaning back. I wish this girlfriend had a cigarette in her mouth. It is the best thing to watch of her be like, and he is on mute right now because he just can't shut the fuck up. Like, I wish she would go off, but she's like, and then she goes, if you want to come back into this courtroom, write me a pledge on a piece of paper. You pledge that you will like follow the rules of decorum and be quiet, not interrupt me. And so you can see him write on a piece of paper and hand it to the bailiff, and the bailiff brings it to the judge. And she like stops saying whatever she's saying, reaches over, reads the piece of paper, and goes, that's not a pledge. He's not coming back in here until he gives me a pledge. And she just puts it away, and you can see him in the other courtroom. He's getting pissed. He's waving at the camera. One day he built a box fort out of like his legal paperwork. He just built a box fort, like put them on top of each other in front of him so that they couldn't see him on camera. So she made the bailiffs go over there and take the boxes down. Like, it is not to say that I watched a bunch of trials, but it's the wildest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He just
The
moron.
only other trial I watched was the Johnny Depp trial, and I was invested.
I did.
But to go back to that, like, he's crazy.
But he's not, though. He's not mentally ill, and that's
right. Like, lock up the stupid people, because this is what he wants. Like, he obviously wants attention. Like, he wants the publicity of being one of the worst people in America.
A child killer, a woman killer, a grandma killer, like you're and there is like evidence to show that he like sped up the closer that he got to people, because he ran through a full-on parade. So in the beginning a cop tried to stop him, and the cop was like, he wasn't going that fast. So the judge is like, A, you had opportunity to turn around, and B, that means that you sped up and hit people at 30 miles an hour. That's so fast.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he killed people, obviously. So, it's just, it's pretty crazy to watch him literally be crazy. But this ending, the judge is just, she's basically like, you're not smarter than everybody else. You're not mentally ill. You're perfectly competent. And that is no excuse. I'm not going to put you away in a facility like you think that you can get over on me.
Right.
Because he had like his mom and his grandma be like, he has bipolar disorder and he needs to go somewhere where he can rehabilitate. And the judge is like, this ain't that, dude. She gave him 6 consecutive life sentences and then like 1,000 years on top of that. He got the maximum on every charge. So, but it's just been like insane, to watch. And he literally thinks he's the smartest person in the whole entire world, and he's the dumbest. And I wish all the margaritas and whatever guilty pleasure that judge has, I hope she gets 1 million of them, because she is a saint among saints. Yes, and she is the best. I can't shut up about it. Ask anybody. For the last like 3-4 weeks or whatever, it's all I did was just watch it all day long, like 9 hours on YouTube. Anyways, that was a rant.
Yes.
So when was the first time you thought about having kids?
Transition.
I
think I always knew that I wanted to have kids, but when I was younger, I always used to tell my mom, I'll have kids, but I would like to have them when they're like 4 years old. Like, I don't want the newborn baby stage. I just want to have them back when they're 4.
That's a good point.
You know what's funny?
Now you wish it other way around.
The other way around. I wish I had that little newborn baby, those little snuggles, and just like the chillness, because Grant was, yes, he was like high energy, but he was so well behaved. I remember at 9 months old, I told Flint, I was like, I could do this again. Like, let's just go ahead and knock it out again and have the other baby. And we did. At 10 months, I was pregnant with Graham.
Right.
And now it's like pure chaos. And Grant throws the biggest temper tantrums of my life. I heard, so he's about to turn 3 in January. I heard that the biggest, like, tantrums are still, like, yet to come.
Oh, I'm
like,
sure.
they don't chill out until, like, 4 years old.
Yeah, because he's unreasonable at
Yeah.
this point, and you can't, like, reason with him because
No.
he's just got a dog brain, and he doesn't even really know.
No.
You just have to get him with treats and tell him
Yeah.
that you don't negotiate with terrorists,
Yeah.
and this is what it is, buddy.
Right, exactly. It is definitely a struggle. But what's funny is that on the way over here, something happened, and I was like, "Oh, isn't this ironic that we're gonna be talking about kids today?" But after I had Grant, I did not have any issues holding my bladder.
Okay.
Ever. Like, I was fine.
Yeah.
After Graham,
So kid number 2.
kid number 2, I cannot hold my bladder at all. I know that might be like TMI for people, but like it is
It's
such
normal.
a struggle. And like even if I don't think I have to pee, I sneezed on the way over here and I peed.
My
And I was
favorite
like,
was after you went,
this real
when
life?
Graham was still really little and I was just helping watch him, and you went back into the gym. You came back and I was like, how was your workout? And you're like, I just pee every time I take a step when I'm running, but other than that, it was fine.
Right. It is such a struggle. Like I go to the gym and I will pee before I go on the treadmill.
Yeah.
So I will go to the bathroom, go out, stretch, and go back to the bathroom, and then go run on the treadmill. And sometimes I have to stop in the middle of the workout because I'm like, oh no.
I'm
So
gonna
then I have to go again.
Have you practiced your Kegels?
No, and I hate doing them.
Why?
I
That's
don't
weird.
know. I just hate doing them.
Don't be like that. They're so fun and easy.
Like,
I'm
I
doing
wish
them right
there was
now.
something that could just like go up there and like retighten that muscle because
You can't.
it is such a struggle. Like I'm hoping to run a half marathon in April.
I mean,
And
do they make
that's gonna be such a struggle. Like I'm gonna have to wear like
Depends.
Depends.
They make like running Depends, like
Right.
Depends for moms. Do you tinkle every step that you take?
Yes.
Do you sneeze and stuff comes out?
Right, or like jumping.
Ah.
It's just all a struggle.
They do make things called Benoit balls that help you.
I know. I have some.
Yeah, but you just have to stretch your shit just like you do your other muscles. You
know,
also
I
need to
just-
work that muscle.
I know.
How are you the one that goes to the gym and stuff all the time? You're like, I don't like doing Kegels. Meh.
It just.
You can do them while you're stretching at the gym.
I know.
and then
I
not
just, for
pee
some
while you're
reason,
running.
Like hate it, but I probably need to get that together before this half marathon, or else I'm gonna have to stop and go to the bathroom like every half a mile.
I mean, is there probably porta potties?
Yeah, there are.
Yeah. So you will be fine. The struggle of having kids, the things that I will not miss about not having kids. And I was trying to think about this, like if I ever was like, oh, I'm gonna have kids when I grow up.
Right.
The only time I can think about, like, thinking about if I'm gonna have kids or not is when we would play MASH.
Yes.
Mansion, apartment, shack, or house.
Yep.
And then you would go through and you would put, like, all the boys.
Yep.
And then you would put, like, 4 cars.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think, and, like, how many kids.
Right.
And then you would, like, give a random number or whatever, and then you would, like, count through.
Yeah.
And I would be like, I'm going to have 7 kids that live in a shack, drive a convertible.
That'd Makes sense.
Yes.
But it was fun to do. We did it all the time.
Right. And I don't ever remember. Now, I do remember when I, like, lost my virginity, I was like, I do not want to get pregnant.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. And I don't ever remember being like, I can't wait to get married and have kids.
Right.
I just never was on that
Yeah.
track or whatever. Like, I don't know. I just never, like, thought about
And that's fine.
it.
That's
Yeah.
what, you can have a fulfilled life without having kids.
Yeah, there's this really cool chick that I just met recently that's like in her 60s, and she's like, I think she said she married 2 dudes named Jim or something, and she's divorced both of them. So she's like, I won't do that again. She's like, you can hook me up with anybody, make sure his name ain't Jim. But she never had any kids, didn't want any. And she said her best friend has 2 kids. And she goes, I told my friend that her boys are like, her and her boys are in my will, but don't tell them because I don't want them to think of me differently. But they call her like auntie or whatever.
Right.
And that's just, it is what it is. And she's like, I have no regrets. She goes, I am retired. I'm not even going to try and date. Fuck that. I'm going on vacation.
Yeah,
I'm just going to
live your
have a good
life.
time. She did well for herself by like being a nurse. So I was like, good for you. Get it, girl. Like, that's great that you don't have any regrets. You didn't have any kids. You lived your whole entire life and you're like, I'm good. Love that. Love it. I
Yeah,
know a
I
couple
think-
people like that.
Right,
But
I think that's fantastic. Honestly, I obviously do not like regret having kids. Like that
obviously,
would be so
no.
crazy.
Yeah.
And I love my life. I love my husband. I love my kids. But in another life, I think it'd be really interesting to take a different path in my life.
Right.
Because I think it'd be so interesting to see like where I would be at right now, what I would be doing. Because kids like tie you down.
right. Right.
It is the greatest joy that I've ever experienced in my life. Like having these human beings who like have my DNA. I carried them in my stomach.
I know. I wanted to like talk to you about like being pregnant, and one of the things I remember about when you were pregnant the second time in your first trimester, you're like, I am just so sick. I do not remember this. And I was like, you're the exact same you were the first time you were pregnant. And you're like, if I remember that, I wouldn't have done this shit again.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason why you don't remember like the icky parts.
Right. Because
That's why people have more kids.
exactly. Your brain just blocks it out, and it's
Yeah.
like, don't remember that stuff, or else you'll never poop out another one ever again.
Right.
Did you
Exactly.
enjoy being pregnant?
I didn't mind it. The first trimester, I always kind of felt like icky. I'd get like really bad indigestion, and even towards the end, I would get bad indigestion. But overall, like I feel like I was just more so like lethargic.
Yeah, just exhausted from something, that parasite sucking the life out of you.
Yeah, like with Grant, obviously I wasn't that bad, and I was going into the office every day because this is pre-COVID.
Right.
And then when I was pregnant with Graham, I had a baby to look after. It was
Right.
COVID, so I was also working. Like, it was just a lot more. And it's unfortunate. Like, I feel like I wasn't able to, like, enjoy being pregnant.
Did you have a
because
baby
you're so
moon?
busy all day. For Graham,
Either one. I don't remember.
Flint and I went to Florida in Fort Myers when I first got into the second trimester with Grant. And that's how we like announced that we were pregnant.
Oh.
Because that's where Flint and I got married.
right.
And we put up like at one of the bars, the Cottage, which unfortunately was destroyed by the hurricane.
R.I.P. Fort Myers Beach, dude.
I know, it's so sad. But where we got married, we put up like a dollar bill, like Griles 2018. And then we went there and we put up another dollar bill and it said Baby Growl coming
Yes.
January 2020. And that's how like we announced it.
Did you
we were
put
pregnant.
also COVID coming
Months later.
Yeah, for real.
But no. You know what's funny though?
What? What is?
If you were to ask Flint if we're gonna have another kid,
Oh no.
he would be like, no. N-O, we're not having another kid
Lacey,
ever.
don't
He's like,
tell me.
He's like, do you want me to hate my life?
He just doesn't want to be an old
He says,
dad.
I know. So
Are you
Right.
trying to tell me right now that you wouldn't mind?
I don't think I would mind.
Lacey.
I think I want to be pregnant again.
No, then be a surrogate and we can
No.
use the fun money for like vacations.
I know. I honestly thought about that, but I was like, I don't enjoy pregnancy that much. I like
Only if you get to keep it at the end.
Yes.
Jesus.
I don't know. I don't
Oh
know.
my
And
God.
I know that would be really like a great gift for people who can't have babies on their own, but that would be too much for me, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. About
Honestly,
that.
I'm probably done having kids, but I'm like still keeping that thought in my head. Maybe.
Do you
I don't
think
know.
that if you told Flint you wanted to have another one, he would go get a vasectomy? Like
I've told him a
immediately?
couple of times, and each time he's like, no. No, like we're good, we're done. But you
Yeah.
know what? maybe in a few years when like both of the young
You want to be one
like,
of those ones where you have like a 18-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newborn.
I mean, we're gonna be close
Or like
to that
a
because
7.
Eli's 12, Grant is almost 3, and then Graham is almost a year and a half.
So you'll have an 18-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 6 or 5-year-old, and then a newborn.
Yeah, that would be a lot.
Yeah, do you want a 7-year-old
No.
and a newborn?
No.
No, because one of the reasons to remain child-free is to go on vacation. I got that written down in big letters.
One day we'll be able to do things again. Because
know.
honestly, like even so for this Cabo trip, like I'm stressed out about like childcare because one, I want
Right.
it to be people who know them
Right.
and like
They feel comfortable.
yes, but a majority of the people that are coming
Right.
to Cabo are the ones who would watch them.
Right.
And also like Flint's family that's like staying back, like they're all busy. They're not.
They all have
really-
kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like they're busy. They have their hands full with other things, and I get that.
Or else they'd probably be coming to
My-
Cabo.
My mom is definitely unable to. My dad's just older, and like he's not
Hopefully
able
your
to
dad's
like.
coming to Cabo.
Yeah. But I invited him to Cabo because I knew he wouldn't be able to take care of those 2 kids by himself.
Right.
No way.
Right. Yes.
Like
yeah.
maybe an hour a day.
And you told me you can't just drop them off at the fire station and come pick them back up when you're done.
No.
They don't just let you
And,
do
like,
that.
I just have such anxiety about leaving them because I haven't left them for this long. I've left them
Right.
for 3 days when we went down to Taylor's wedding.
Right.
But this is also out of the country, so I'm just having a little bit of anxiety and just trying to
Yeah.
figure things out. But you know what? It'll be fine. It all will like work itself out. But if I didn't have kids, I would not have this issue.
Right. But also on the flip side of that, when they get older, taking them on vacation is
It's gonna-
super fun.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
gonna be such a blast. I can't wait. Like when they reach the age of like 4 or 5,
Yeah.
that's when it's gonna start to really turn and be like fun.
When they can
because-
walk and talk.
and they can understand me. I can understand them. There's
Yeah.
no like weird tantrums. Like maybe there is, but when I say like let's get it together, they know what I mean. When
They're
I
going to
say
be
that.
perfectly trained in 3 years. Just you wait, you little rascals. You're going to get...
Right.
yeah, right. They're
Yeah,
not going
I
to be
doubt
afraid
that.
of you, Al.
Like this, being a mom is literally the hardest thing I've ever done mentally and physically. I am the busiest that I've ever been, but I'm
Makes
also
sense.
not doing anything. So it's like,
Well, it's not that you're not doing anything. You just feel like you're not really getting anything accomplished because it's like start project, do this for kid, continue project, do this for kid,
Right.
and then it's like you feel like you
Yeah.
can't move, have so much
And I-
forward progress.
yeah. And like, yes, it's stressful and it's extremely hard, but it's also like the most gratifying
Right.
thing I've ever done in my life. And I'm just so like thankful that I get to be home with them every day and be
Yeah.
with them
And they're healthy.
and have these
and-
experiences. Yes, and that they're healthy. Like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, so many things can happen. Like
Yeah.
after childbirth, like,
Yeah.
I'm just so
and
thankful
during
for that.
childbirth, like we know somebody
Yeah.
that had,
Yeah.
I mean, well, I know, who doesn't know somebody that had crazy complications
Yeah.
from like being pregnant, or like I know someone that just hated being pregnant. One lady I remember, see, this is probably why I never want to have kids. When I was lifeguarding, this one lady was super pregnant and I was like, how are you? And everything. She goes, I love it. I love being pregnant. I feel so good. I always lose a lot of weight afterwards and all this stuff. And I was like, dang, did you just get lucky? And she goes, hell yes. Every time my sister gets pregnant, she breaks out in acne over her whole entire body. I was like, what the?
Yeah.
Like, boy, the symptoms are really ranging pretty far there.
Yes,
like,
you
never
don't know how you're gonna react when you're pregnant.
Right, and I think maybe, well, I don't know about like during pregnancy, but like postpartum depression I mean, obviously it's postpartum. So you never know how you're gonna feel right after you have a kid, and that can like affect everything, your hormones,
Yeah.
like the way that you interact with your child, like how you treat yourself and
your
all
spouse.
that stuff. Oh yeah, that too, and just like life in general. And because
Yeah.
it's hard when you have a newborn, it's a bloodsucker parasite that
Right.
you have to.
But that's why it's so important that, like, especially as a new mom, that you still take time for yourself.
Right.
And, like, you do something that you enjoy, or, like, just take a breather. Like, there are times where, like, I get overstimulated extremely easily. And I wasn't really like that until after I had kids. Like, honestly, right after I had Grant, if there was too much going on, I would, like, feel stressed out and very anxious. And, like, when all of you, like, I had, like, 5 or more people in our hospital room, and I was learning how to breastfeed for the first time. And
the nurse was being
the nurse
rough.
was being so rude.
She wasn't rude. She was just, the way she was manipulating your boob and your baby.
Yes, I was like,
you were like, what are you doing?
I was like, okay, I need you to back up off me. I need everyone in this room to leave.
Yes, because I'm going to start ripping heads off.
You all were like laughing and talking and whatever.
We were so happy for the new
baby.
baby.
Like, everyone has got to go. I need some peace and quiet. But ever since after having kids, like, if there's too much going on, like, I just can't handle it. It gives me anxiety.
Right.
But you know what also gave me anxiety? Like, speaking of, like, just hormones after you have kids. So I breastfed until Grant was, like, 6 months old, and he bit me he had a tooth, and he bit me, and I bled for literally ever. It was awful. So then I decided I was just going to pump. So I pumped.
Till he was
and
1?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, exactly how it happens, but obviously when you pump, your hormones shift so that like the milk comes out. But I think the way that I was pumping, I could express probably 6 to 10 ounces each pumping session in about 10 minutes, which is fast.
Okay.
And I think because I was doing that, and I was like, that's how I, like, trained
your boobs.
Yes, I trained them. But it would change my hormones so quickly that while I was pumping, I would feel stressed out, anxious, frustrated. Flint could not talk to me when I was pumping.
Dang, girl.
I would be pissed off. Like, I don't know why. And then about a minute after I was done pumping,
you'd feel better.
Yes, I feel fine.
I wonder if it's that, like, it's got to be, like, primal, like, you're just, if you're pumping, you're vulnerable because you're trying to, like, feed your baby and you don't want this lion to come eat you. Right. So you're, like, high stress because you're, like, fight or flight, like, you have to run at this moment.
Right.
Because you're just trying to keep your baby alive.
Right.
With the mother's milk, the nectar of the gods, if you will.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
But that's a reason why probably some people switch to formula. Because that is just a little much. Because you're doing that every 2 hours.
So when I switched to pumping, it's probably like every 4.
But still, so 6 times a day, you're like, don't talk to me or look at me. Or
I
else.
know, it was even, like, it was that bad. It was crazy. It was so crazy.
But no regrets.
But no regrets. And obviously going into this relationship with Flint, I knew, like, kids were always going to be on, like, the table. Because Eli, like, Flint already had Eli.
Right.
And when I met Eli, he was 4. And looking back now that I have kids, like, biologically of my own.
Yeah.
I've always loved Eli. I've always loved him.
Yeah.
I've always, tried my best to take care of him. But now that I have kids, I look back and I think, man, I wish I would have had more of that motherly, like, loving instinct.
Yeah.
Back when Eli was 4 years old.
I mean, you were also 21.
Yes, I was 21.
Yeah.
And not thrown into it, but kind of because I moved in with Flint so quickly that it was just like, I feel like I could have done things so much better with Eli in terms of, like, just being more of
like a mom figure.
To him.
Without being like
now, but
I'm your mom.
Like, I wonder if that would have even made our relationship even closer than what it is now. Not saying that our relationship isn't close, because it is. I love Eli to death.
Right.
And I know he loves me. And
more of like, maybe it's more of like a friend thing. Right. Like, you tried to be friends with him instead of like a parental figure.
Flint, I love you. But I let Flint like take the reins
Right.
every time Eli was over because that's his son.
Right.
When sometimes like I should have just stepped my game up and done things a little bit differently. Again, not saying Flint did anything wrong or anything like that, but when I had maybe a difference of opinion or thought something else, I never really spoke up until really I had kids of my own.
Right.
And been like, okay, like
now I feel like
mother knows best. Sorry, Flint, but mothers know best. And also, like, trying to navigate a relationship with Eli's mom was very interesting.
Right.
I've always gotten along well with her, and I hope she, like, says the same about me. I hope we get along well. Like, based on our interactions, I think she likes me. And honestly, I feel like if it wasn't weird that, like, that's Flint's ex, I feel like her and I could potentially, like, be real friends. Like, I'm not going to say that we're not friends, because I would
but, like, hang out. And
yes. Like, she seems like she...
If you had met her in a different life, then, maybe you guys would be friends. Right.
Right.
You know, you never know.
But we get along really well, and I think that is so beneficial for Eli to see.
Right.
And
good
like,
communication.
Be role models for, and just try to be the best. Like, Eli's extremely lucky. He has 4 parents who are doing great jobs and love him to death. Yes. And but again, like, looking back, I'm like, dang, I would have done things maybe a little bit differently.
Yeah.
I wonder if you wish that instinct would have kicked in a little bit sooner. With
I bet if you asked Eli, he would be like, "It's fine. I'm glad you didn't like punish me like a mom."
Right. I'm not,
I'm sure Eli would be like,
with Grant, and it's like, whew.
I'm glad she didn't talk to me like that. Because he's coming. I mean, Grant's coming up on the age of like when you met him.
Right. And you know what's funny? It's like a mixture of 2 things here. When Eli comes over, he's 12, so he's like hitting that age where he like just wants to be by himself.
Right.
More often.
Right.
But watch, Sarah listens to this and she's like, he hangs out with me all the time.
Yeah.
But
are we talking about the same kid?
but he like, especially when like the kids are acting up and being loud and noisy, Eli will retreat into his bedroom, which I get. Like, he's 12 years old. He doesn't want to hear any of that.
He has snot-nosed brothers that sneeze in people's mouths and stuff.
I know, and especially when like Grant is like throwing a tantrum, I feel bad that Eli has to hear that. But
well, I think that they get along well already, even though that like. Even thinking about Kendall being 5 years away from me, like, we didn't really, like, hang out and get along when we were kids. But maybe with their age gap, like, he will, like, because, okay, so in 4 years, Eli's going to be 16 and Grant will be almost 7.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that'll be super fun for him, like, his little brother, like.
And he is already such a great brother. Like, he plays with Grant all the time. Like, he gets excited. Like, I remember when Grant was, like, Graham's age. Yeah. And, like, starting to do new things. Yeah. And Eli's mom would be like, Eli was so excited he had to tell me that, you know, this is the update on Grant.
Yeah.
Like, it was so cute. And
Eli, that's all Grant says. Eli. I'm like, Eli's not here right now, Grant. You need to, like, chill your nose. Eli, outside. Eli's not outside either. Like, I'm telling you. Eli.
Yeah,
that was definitely, that was, like, one of his first words, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Eli. Yeah. Eli. Like, yep, that's your brother. Good job, buddy.
Said it before, Mama.
Because he called you Baba.
I know.
That is the best thing. I think he does it now because he knows it makes us laugh. But literally, Grant, you'd be like, say Mama. And he would like look and you go, Baba. And like, no, it's not Baba. Say
Which
Mama.
Which is funny that he said bees back then. Because when he says bye, he says die.
Oh, and so now he won't say B.
Like, he just he has to work at it a little bit more. So for those of you who don't know, like, Grant's speech is a little bit delayed. It's not like not anything crazy.
He repeats.
So he has been, like, a speech therapist comes twice a month and really just works with him on different sounds.
Right.
Like the B's and the P's and, like, the words that you say with, like, the front of your mouth.
Right.
And then I just had a meeting with for an evaluation on him because when he turns 3, it switches programs.
Okay. Makes sense.
And
another milestone.
They basically were like, we don't recommend that he like needs to continue therapy.
Right, because he knows what he's saying and he understands.
Right. I don't have any concerns that he's not going to get there eventually.
No.
He will.
He cracks me up. He does the thing where he'll say, like, I am trying to think of a specific word, but he'll say something wrong, and I'll be like, no, and I'll repeat it back to him in, like, 2 syllables. I'll be like, say, like, speaker, and he'll be like, people, and I'll be like, no, say speak, and he'll be like, speak, and I'll be like, and he'll go, and then I'll say speaker, and he'll go, people, and you're like, dude, I know you can say the words, you're being a little rascal. It's like the same as when you would be like, say mama, and he would be like, baba. And you're like, no, that's not.
Right.
Like, I know you know how to say
Exactly.
you little turd.
Exactly.
What a cute boy.
Right.
It's built-in birth control and makes me not want to be on birth control at the same time, but
right.
No regrets.
Ooh, there's one thing that I wanted to say about like co-parenting.
Oh yeah.
About how, because I mentioned how important it is to like demonstrate for the child that's involved, like that both sides get along or are at least civil with each other, because there's nothing worse than putting your kid in the middle of the disaster that happened between the 2 parents.
Right.
It's awful and it's uncomfortable. So you
Right.
might as well fake it or actually get along with them. Find like a
your kids
common
shouldn't
ground.
be involved in your
No.
adult stuff.
no.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't hear you talk
Right.
anything negatively about the other parent.
No.
And again, like, I love that I have such a nice relationship with Eli's mom.
Yeah.
Like, we ran a 5K together.
Oh, that's fun. I didn't know that she did that with you guys.
Yeah, it was me, her, and Eli. And
Oh.
Eli ran ahead of us, and then her and I, like, ran together.
Did Eli
But it
beat
was
you guys?
so much fun. And that is so important for, like, Eli to see.
Right.
And now that he's like getting older, I think it's even more important that like both sides like do things together every once in a while.
Yeah, especially since he's older now, you know.
Yeah.
Like your brother Andy and sitting down with his mom and
Right.
your dad, like that was like so weird to see that. It was funny because I saw the Facebook post, I think Kendall showed me or something, and all the comments are like, wow, because it's from like both sides.
Yeah.
And I don't really know the other side of it.
Right.
And so I was like, this is like so cool that, but it's crazy that it took him like 40 years to get both of his parents to like sit down. I mean, not that they didn't sit down together before that, but
Right.
just like nobody really hung out in the same like spaces until that day. It's just so crazy,
Right.
but it's
It
cool.
is.
At least everybody, I feel like the state of the world right now is either making people very like hateful and keeping away from each other, or it's bringing everybody together. And I feel like in most of the cases, like of our relationships, it's bringing people more together. Like everybody's, I mean, we're going to freaking Mexico all together in a house.
Right.
Not just like...
Right, we got an Airbnb.
Oh, I'm so excited to like wake up in the morning and like the chef's making breakfast tamales and my dad's going to get up and go 2 X's. And I'm like, Dad, no, it's dos equis. Like that's Spanish for 2 X's.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. I hope that I can like fully relax and enjoy it. And
That's what I'm worried about.
Stress out about the kids.
Right.
But again, it's because some things are up in the air still about like who's watching them, and I just want it to be people that I know.
Right. But sometimes it is what it is, you know?
I know.
I'm taking my dog to the vet to get boarded. I'm nervous.
Are you?
No, he'll be fine. He just doesn't really like it, but he'll be with his BFF, so it's actually kind of funny. I dropped my dad's dog off at the same time, and they're like, oh, do you want them in the kennel together? And I'm like, yeah, like, that's so cute. They're best friends, and they're both pretty, oh, excuse me, I just spit. They're both pretty antisocial.
Right.
So, like, yeah, I think it's cute that they get to, like, hang out together, and then I don't have any worries, and the cat.
Right, they have each other, and Flynn's like, well, couldn't we, like, separate the two? And I'm like,
No,
I think that would give them more anxiety.
They already feed off each other by like crying, like let alone maybe they're by feeding off of each other and crying, they're having like a bond moment.
Right.
So they can also feed off of each other and not cry and comfort
Right.
each other. They just are
Right.
little silly boys and they have chosen not to.
Man, and I will say 2 under 2 is interesting. Like, it definitely has like its stressful moments. Like,
Yeah.
Grant also just wants to hug and kiss Graham. We call him Bubba all the time.
Yeah.
And Graham is not like that affectionate.
No.
He does not like it.
He's
like,
sensitive.
I need you, and he's so sensitive. But he's like, Grant, I need you to back up off of me
Get
right now.
off of me.
You've hugged me 5 times now. I'm done.
I know. I've been trying to teach Grant. I'm like, quit. You're pissing him off.
Yes.
And Grant's like, ugh. And I go, you see how he's crying? That means he's getting pissed off.
Like, yes,
And
I know what
Grant's
you're
like-
doing was like meant to be sweet,
Yeah.
but it's irritating him.
How many
Not
times-
everyone wants to be hugged 5 times.
I feel like I'm not, I'm only there like once a week or whatever. And the amount of times I have to be like, don't touch his face. It's
Yeah.
like crazy. Like, do you see how he cries when you do that? That's a no from him. Dude.
But now he's starting to do it more like on purpose, and he'll look at me, and he'll go like, he'll look at me, and he'll be sitting right next to Bubba, and like hit him. And I'm
no.
like, Grant Daniel.
He just wants the attention to like get in trouble. Like,
I guess, yeah, we've reached that stage now, so it's really fantastic. Like, he knows when he's gonna get in trouble for like doing something to Graham, and like he will, if Graham's on the ground, he will do like put his body weight on him and like roll around on him. I'm like, you're
Oh
gonna
my
suffocate
God.
him.
Just wait until Bubba gets big enough.
I know. He's gonna get him.
Oh, and let's put it on the record. I won't say who said it because I won't call him out, but like a member of the family stated, oh man, maybe like months ago, like I don't remember what, it was an occasion, but there was a bunch of people there and both the babies were sitting there, and I was like, I said something about Grant. I was like, look at your little belly. And this person goes, yeah, I think Grant's going to be fat and Graham's going to have abs.
I know who said that.
I'm like, yes, I love it. Like already at like 2 and 6 months, we're like deciding.
Nice.
Yeah.
But no, Grant definitely, like, I would consider myself like, I would consider myself like athletic. Like,
Yeah.
if I ate crappy and didn't work out, I could probably easily like gain weight or whatever.
I don't know.
But like Graham definitely has more of like a Guile, like body
Body
type. Like Flint was very skinny and like linky.
Yeah.
And just like Bridget is tall and skinny and linky, and I think that's like, based on what I'm seeing right now, I think that's what's gonna happen. But who knows? Honestly,
both
who
of you
knows?
guys
You're too young.
I mean, there's no like large people in your family.
Yeah.
So, like, I think it'll be fine. Like, 2 of my grandmas have had breast reductions, so that's what I got
Right.
going on for me.
Hey, but if you're not gonna have kids, nothing really is gonna happen.
Right.
them.
They're just going to grow infinitely on my body and cause me to have massive back
Hey,
problems.
but if you were to have kids, they would sag, and then you would for sure have to have like a breast reduction probably.
Oh,
I
for
would
sure.
assume.
For sure. But no worries about that because I was like, one day I was like, I'm 26. I'm not having any kids. And I tried to tell my gynecologist and she was like, why don't you just get on birth control for a couple more years before you like really decide anything or whatever. And I was like, all right, fine. And now I'm like at the point where I don't want to be on birth control anymore and I don't want to get pregnant. So
Right.
I was thinking like tubal ligation or ablation, I think it's called, when they burn your tubes.
Oh.
Yeah, but I think you told me that.
Yeah, don't do anything with your tubes
I know.
because I read that your hormones shift
Right.
when you do things to like your tubes, whether you tie them or burn them. That sounds awful.
Whatever.
I heard that it affects your hormones so much that, especially when you're going through menopause,
Yeah.
that like it can affect you even worse, like mentally, physically. Like, it'll mess up your body way more than your partner getting
a vasectomy.
a vasectomy.
Right, which is what I am hoping for. Your 30th birthday's coming up, buddy. Schedule it, April. Please.
Right, and Right. So I mean, birth control, I don't necessarily love that either because
No.
it's affecting your hormones and like
Yeah.
you're not even having a real period.
No, so like my experience thus far with birth control is like I was on the pill for a long time, which was okay, I guess. On one pill, I took it for like 6 months. I felt like homicidal at times, like I was gonna kill people instead of like myself. I mean,
Oh.
you know. But now I got the next one on, which is the one that they put in
Right.
your arm, and I had the first one for 3 years. It was kind of fun because I could like
Right.
poke it out and show people and stuff a little bit.
I hated it. I hated it.
But it's fun because the next one that they put in is too deep in my arm, so now I can't see it or anything. But the doctor assures me it's still in there, and it's definitely working because I haven't had
Where
a
would
period.
it go if it wasn't still in there?
I did
Like-
read one where it went in some lady's lung because like it's like a foreign body, so your body just kind of like absorbs
Ate
it
it.
or whatever, but it's still working because I still don't have a period after 5 years, which is fun but also weird.
Yeah.
Because that can't be good.
No.
And I just feel like I don't have really any, like, ups and downs of, like, my cycle.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel, like, different any time of the month. And it's just odd to me.
Yeah.
And I just
it
am
is.
kind of over it. I'm almost 30 years old. Like, my hormones are probably changing anyways.
Yeah.
So I feel like I just need to get off of this and just experience real life.
Right.
Maybe I'll hate it and I'll be like, get this thing back
Right.
in me, you know? Because the
Who
reason
knows?
I got on it in the first place is because my periods were fucked up, not
Yeah.
because, well, probably a little bit of both of the
Right.
not getting knocked up and, you
Right,
know.
I will
but-
say, and again, this might be like TMI, especially if you're a dude, but this is natural. Women bleed in order to have babies.
Yeah.
So, sorry about it. But after having kids, my periods became extremely awful.
Okay.
And then I was reading about how tampons can make your cramps worse because
Right.
it's like absorbing, so it's kind of like sucking in
Right.
almost. And so I switched to the cup,
Right.
and I have cramps for the first day, and then after that I don't.
Ugh,
And I used to
everybody's-
have like keeled over every single day for 5 to 7 days.
Yeah, I recall. And my sister has the same rave reviews for the cup. She's like,
Yeah.
it's 10 times better.
You have to get used to it. Like,
Right.
it took me probably 6 months, 6 tries to like really figure it out.
I did just see an ad for one that has like an insertion thing, kind of like a tampon.
Oh.
And I was like, that's
Interesting.
very interesting. So then you don't have to like
yeah. Do the
you know,
thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting. I'll have to look
Yeah.
into that. But
Can you open up your celly and so
Yeah.
I can give you this little fun little list that Kendall and I have been working on for like a couple of years now, where so basically we ask people like to answer the question, like, and most of these, or actually I would say all of these, are people whose kids are like grown.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, so the question that you need to finish is, or the statement that you need to finish is, I'm so happy that I had kids because, and I don't know if you can like answer that yet. It's fine.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably a different answer now for you than it would
Right.
be in like however many years,
Yeah.
you know, but some of the answers we've gotten is because that's just science and hormones and we were going to fuck anyways. So I knew what the consequences were.
Okay.
That's a fun lady. I love her. Oh, this one's from my dad. He said, it was so much fun, and now I want to move to Texas.
Okay.
And then, GarageBand has stopped because my sister is trying to FaceTime me.
Kindle.
Don't do that.
You need to put it on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Obviously not.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Okay, how do I just keep recording? Well, Kendall, I'm busy.
Man, nothing can go smoothly.
Yeah, seriously, I told her ass. Okay, do I know how to do this?
I don't
know
know.
how to do this. Because we're pretty far into this recording. Okay. Record. 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you, Kendall, for interrupting this broadcast.
Because now I have to.
Edit even further, and
Yes.
don't worry, I'm going to talk major shit about you on the next podcast. I'm going to have a clear segment about how Kendall bothers me. Rude, but true. Somebody else said, I'm so glad I had kids because I have someone to work on the farm. Another person said, I'm glad I can get anything I want on Mother's Day weekend, not just Mother's Day. Somebody else said that they have somebody to leave the farm to.
Okay.
Another person said they were so glad they had kids because their mother was dying and she wanted grandkids.
Oh.
Another person said that their gay brother was never going to have kids, so they had to take one for the team. Yeah. Somebody else said they're so glad because they take after me. And the last one said, look at all the enjoyment that we get out of it. And I thought that was like sweet.
Yeah, that is sweet. Because I agree with that. Like, you get a lot of enjoyment, and just seeing like these people that you raised become like good, independent people. And that's why it's so important that you are good role models for them. And I think I put a lot of stress on myself because I want to be a good parent and a good role model to my kids, because I didn't necessarily have that with my mom.
Right.
So, like, sometimes, like, it keeps me up at night. Like, maybe I'm doing things wrong. Like, what if...
They're so young, they won't remember.
What if I am, like, traumatizing them? I don't know.
Oh,
but
no.
that's why I want to, like, demonstrate to them, like, how to be, like, a good, strong, independent person. That's part of the reason why I want to do, like, this half marathon, is to show them, like, you need to get out of your comfort zones to... like, have a happy and, like, fulfilled life. If you stay in a comfort zone your whole life, like, you're not really
right. You're not
living.
You're not being fulfilled, or whatever the right word is.
Right.
You know?
And just that it's so important to take care of yourself, eat healthy, and just exercise for, like, your mental state.
Right.
And also, like, starting this podcast, like, I just want to show them, whatever you have an interest in, go and do it. Don't let fear step in your way. Yes. And that's, like, my motto for being a mom, is just to show them to get out of your comfort zone and just do it. Whether you succeed or fail at it, at least you tried and at least you did it. I don't want them to necessarily always be, like, money driven. Yes, you need to make money to survive. Right. But I want to show them that you don't have to have money and a ton of it in order to be happy. And live, like, a good life. Like, I just want them, I don't know. I just want them to be so happy.
Yes, I love that. And that is a great ending, I think. Like, only other thing that I had was that the world population finally passed 8 billion. Wow. It's been, like, coming up on it. Yeah, and it's very interesting to, like, look it up and see the ticker, you know. Yeah. Today there was 252,000 births. And then the birth to death ratio, like, it's kind of odd. Like, the population growth was 126,000. So it's like, it's growing, ever growing for sure. More people are being born than are dying.
Do you think that we need to follow China's?
They don't have that rule anymore.
I know, but should the world put it only?
No, I think that there should be controversial opinion. There should be an IQ test in order to get pregnant, and I think that they should start at like 16. And if you can't pass the IQ test, boys should get. Well, let me not just say boys. You should be sterilized in some way, or put on birth control or whatever, and be like, when you can come back and pass this IQ test, then you can have kids. I said controversial opinion.
Right. Yeah, because that's very controlling. Very controlling. But at the same time, like, there are some dumb shits that have kids, and I feel so bad for those kids. Like, the ones that, you know, are born with drug addictions. The ones that don't have a stable family. But at the same time, like, even though my mom was, like, good when she was pregnant.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm here. Like, what if she wasn't one of those people that, like, passed that IQ test?
It's hard to say.
Because I feel like I'm a good human.
Right,
like,
it's hard to say because sometimes really good people come from piece of shit homes and parents and stuff. And, like, you know, it can't always be perfect. Like, the richest, smartest people don't always have the best kids and aren't always the best parents. Right. You know, so it's hard to tell, but I don't know. Just keep fucking people. Who cares?
Oh my
gosh.
That's crazy.
Thank God for Planned Parenthood. I'll say that. That's probably, if anybody thinks that's a controversial opinion, you're probably listening to the wrong podcast, because, like, it is awesome. Love Planned Parenthood.
Right. I don't have anything wrong with Planned Parenthood. I've definitely been there before when I didn't know who to go see to get like a annual checkup.
Don't say the other word. No.
Oh, I would not.
We're not bringing it up.
No.
That's an episode for another day.
Because we do, like, not...
We have differing opinions
We do,
on
but
this
we
one.
don't.
Yeah,
because I agree that everyone needs to make their own choice, but I do it now. But we're not going to talk about that today. But anyway...
And that bark ends our show.
Yes, I love you.
I love you.
I love my kids. I love that you love my kids.
I love your kids.
Oh, I did want to say one last thing. I'm sorry, everyone, but Christmas is around the corner. I just want you all to remember you do not need to go in excessive debt to make your kids happy.
Yes.
Go to thrift stores. Once Upon a Child in Bloomington has a lot of different toys. Like, go there, check it out. Do not, like, drop hundreds of dollars on new toys that your kids are going to play with for 5 seconds.
Yes.
And don't feel guilty about that.
Go to Home Depot, get 7 refrigerator boxes and 2 rolls of duct tape.
And they will go to town.
Yep.
And also, if you don't have kids but you're buying stuff for kids, do the same thing. Or take the, like, have the gift be like you take them to Legoland or like some adventure.
Right.
Or
An
you buy like a child's museum year pass or the Miller Park Zoo pass.
Right.
Things like that. It doesn't always have to be things or even like new expensive clothes because they grow out of them quickly. Okay, I'm done.
Cheers. Love you.
All right, love you.